1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the Mudblood podcast with myself, William Thompson, and as always, the delightful Paddy McDonald, just fresh back from Santa Ponza. And this week we have some fantastic guests. Want to intro them, Paddy?
We have Willy G Tattoo.
Glad to be here.
And the fantastic Ben Nicky.
What's happening, boys? Thank you for coming on.
Pleasure's ours.
Yes.
Pleasure's ours.
Ben Nicky, just off the back of a fucking massive Belsonic show.
Yeah, mate. Literally, like, you're the first people I've really seen since it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many? 22,000?
22,000 people. Yeah.
Fuck me. That's mad. Like,
It was really good, mate. Yeah.
is that the biggest one you have done yet?
It's the biggest, like, of my own shows. I
Yeah.
play, obviously, worldwide festivals most weeks. Every week, really.
Yeah.
Tomorrowlands and all that stuff. But Creamfields and EDC and stuff. But in terms of, like, selling my own tickets, that would be...
Yeah, and then it's different when it's your own show. Because when you're part of a big festival, you're like, it's nice that there's a big crowd here. But when it's your own, there's a
There's a
different
bit more,
energy to it.
bit more pressure on you.
Yes.
People don't realise, like, I'm sure you guys, like, I don't know what it's like in the comedy world, but everything is kind of a bit of your responsibility, whether it's like the lasers or the volume of the music. Or
Well, your name's on the
Yeah.
it's your name on it.
Exactly.
It's not Tomorrowland it's Ben Nicky, so people don't see that such and such a production team done that.
Yeah.
It's just his fault.
It comes out of your bill as well.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
people don't realise every time you see a firework go off during my set, like that's cash being burned basically. Yeah, it's not cheap.
It's when you see photos of people like out for drinks or out for dinner before the show for us, and you're like, I'm responsible for this not being shite.
Yeah.
I can ruin their fucking night
Yeah,
tonight
yeah,
if
yeah.
I am shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what freaks me out with it.
Yeah.
Do you get the same sort of pressure?
Been doing it for quite a long time now, so
Yeah.
I've been doing this for like 15 years maybe, or 12 years, like professionally, like around the world. So I would say like it's probably like with tattoos, if you have that confidence that you're good at something, and I'd like to think so, lads. Yeah, so I think we're good now, and it was great. It was sick.
Fair enough. And you're just back from Santa Ponza as well.
Yeah. It's not the same as doing 20.
Not exactly the same as 22,000. How was your holiday? Was it
Fucking
good?
mental. Santa Ponza's like Andersonstown in the sun.
Where
like.
is that?
It's Mallorca.
Oh, Mallorca.
So it's it pretty much just has a thing of being like the hub of Fenians.
Yeah, it's where Fenians in the sun is where
Yeah.
it is. Like, yeah.
So it was fucking mental. We went there, and the first night the
Where,
guy
Spain?
on
Spain,
Mallorca. So we went there. It's next to Magaluf, right next to Magaluf. About 15
We go to
minutes
Magaluf, Willie. We don't need to go to Santa Ponza.
Shagaloof.
Yeah.
Shagaloof. But so we went there the first night. The guy who brought me over, his bar had lost the entertainment license, and he was like, I can't have you on a mic, and there's no TVs, and I was like, so what am I going to do? Just stand at the top of the bar and fucking shout? And he was like, yeah. To me, right, okay. 10 minutes he got, and I was like, that's as much as I can do. Like 10 minutes.
Was it chaos? Like,
Well, not chaos. No, everybody was listening, but you're trying to shout.
oh fuck your
Were you
voice.
over for a gig? Or for
I was over
holiday?
for 3
I
gigs.
thought it was for holiday. I thought you said for holiday.
No, so it was over for 3 nights doing gigs. So I done that, and I was like, what the
You're fairly
fuck?
getting about.
I know it's getting there. Like I think I was dipping my toe in just to see, because I have that whole thing that being Paddy and being Irish, and I was like, well, there's fucking mounds of Irish bars.
Yeah.
I'm sort of thinking like, in a couple of years, if maybe not doing as well here, I can be like Freddie Starr and fucking take off to Spain and not be a pedo, but
Is he a pedo?
what?
Is he a pedo?
Freddie Starr, yeah,
We've now got 5 minutes into an episode without mentioning pedos. This is
No,
new
no,
fun
no,
around.
Gary Glitter.
yeah.
Gary Glitter. Which one's Freddie Starr?
Freddie Starr was the comedian with blonde hair.
Is he a pedo?
Well, he's not no more because I think he's dead, isn't he? Yeah, I think he's dead.
So he's dead and a pedo? This is fucking new. I didn't know
They
any
normally
of
come out.
these things.
It normally gets announced once they're dead because
Yeah.
they're protected.
So, well, anyway, he done gigs in Spain, so I sort of went himself and just see what it is. But I know it works now,
Yeah.
So they're already talking about maybe me playing a bigger gig in Palma on a boat. So I'm like,
With an actual microphone.
Yeah.
with an actual. Well, the second night was brilliant. Like it was. in a
You'll
bar
land on the boat and be
microphone.
like, we've lost the fucking boating license. We can't do it now, mate. You've just to
Usual
sit in the
stuff, haven't
fucking dock. Is that too close?
But no, we went fucking mental, and then we got quad bigs out, and we says, "Oh, we'll fucking take a spin the quad bigs," and then we end up in the motorway and in Palma, and I was like, "This is dangerous as fuck. I need to stop shit. Like this is stuff I done when I was 17, flying about in quad bigs, trying to get away from the cops." Yeah.
How the fuck do you end up in the motorway?
We took a wrong turn. And we're on the fucking thing. Me and Murph and 2 quads.
Suppose, would you guys have ever done, like, I suppose you've done Magaluf
Yeah.
sort of places?
BCM.
A lot?
My first ever, when I was 17, I think my first holiday was Shagaloof, obviously, as
Yeah.
you called it. I remember, true story, my mate didn't really drink much. He drunk a lot for the first time, and we went into his room in the morning. He literally just turned 18, it was his birthday. And he actually, we was, you know, like when you're walking on your mates and they're with a bird in bed and you crack up or whatever, he'd literally physically shit himself. And he was round her like that, and the girl hadn't woken up yet and seen it. I swear down, it was like a turtle head coming out the side of his boxers. Mate, I swear it was one of the worst experiences. I still remember the smell. Absolutely shocking, mate.
Was he awake?
No, but then when we tapped him on the shoulder, and he looked up and he just like, oh lads, yeah, mate.
See, you're good, mate.
Yeah.
If that was us,
You would have. It'd be on TikTok by now.
I would have stuck it in their woman's mouth or something like.
Jesus Christ!
I would have went full on with it.
It's one of those places where like anything goes as well.
Yeah.
I remember me and my mate, like when we first, when you're younger, you first start getting into birds. Now we would everyone would just you go to like the beach, like to go and like get with some bird or whatever, and like you'd look on the lounges and it'd be happening at every single lounge, and then the girls would just fucking walk off, and you'd be like, sweet lads, yeah, like it's absolutely manic.
Where's this beach?
How bad?
Just curious.
I know shit like that doesn't happen on our beaches. Do you know what I mean? And we were,
You get a wee man fucking walking a dog and another boy fishing.
that's about as far as it goes. Somebody having a barbecue when they shouldn't be here, or somebody shouting, "Hey, boy, bring the fucking barbecue on the fucking beach."
There'll be a spiced out Millie swinging digs. That's the most we'll get.
We were in Ibiza a couple of weeks ago, and on the way home from meeting, Andrew says there was a girl and fella just on the beach as the sun was coming up, and I was shouting over, and your mum was riding your man, and I was going, "Go on, you boy!" And she was going, "You shut up!" I was fucking out of it, like I was fucking didn't know what was happening. And she was like, "Next day, do you remember?" I mean, no, I don't remember. So she took a picture on your phone.
I saw these two people on a roundabout like
Beautiful
that.
sunset coming up, and you just see a fucking girl, like Frankie the Tory.
Have you ever had to give Have you ever been in those places giving tattoos, like a Magaluf or a holiday place?
No, I have no patience. You watch them programs, you know, like Ibiza programs or whatever. And
Weekender.
Yeah, and the boys go in and get like names in their bums, and they're farting on a tattoo artist, and his other mates round, getting them in a headlock and all. And I reckon I'd chin somebody or end up in jail. Like my clients are good, and I don't know, 2 days max, and I would be lynching somebody.
People are coming in looking their dicks tattooed them.
Even tattoo conventions were a stretch because you get people kicking about steaming, and then you get people like Paddy coming in and looking at the helmet tattooed, but which I can't confirm.
Oh, you seen
it's
it?
genuine.
He's seen it. You haven't seen it?
I'm offended at this point. Do you know this, Ben? The tattoo Paddy has?
No, well, do you know what? It's funny you said that because sometimes I scroll across TikTok or whatever, and you guys come up quite often, and obviously Shane and all the other guys over here. And the one about you guys getting a tattoo, and I've seen your one on your calf. So I saw that actually came out yesterday randomly. So I know a little bit about your tattoo history, but I don't know if there's more to this.
Oh, that's not even nearly the worst tattoo he has.
Yeah, so I'm guessing there's a helmet, is there?
There's the dagger on the penis.
Oh.
He got a dagger on his dick.
On whereabouts on it? Like on the actual...
Down the front of it.
You see, did you get a dagger for the reason that when it's soft it's a dagger, and then when you're rock hard it's a sword?
There wasn't that much thought process.
No.
We were literally fucking.
Where were you?
out.
Because you do gotta think, well, your tattoo is going to change.
Salute.
Yeah.
And there was a
Shape.
tattoo convention, but one of the guys that was on it with me done the door with me, and he was tattoos from his ankles right up to his neck, and the only place he hadn't get done was his balls and his calf. So he wanted to go on the stag because he heard about the tattoo convention, and he had already arranged for this guy to tattoo his shaft, right? So he was getting it done, and he said to the other boys, "I'm not going to be about for the boat party on Saturday. I'm going to get this done, blah blah blah." And then they went, "You should get Paddy to get one done." And somebody said to me, drunk, "You should get that done." I was like, "That's class." And in my head, I was
That's class.
I was like, and they were like, "What are you going to get done?" And I went, "I'll get hello down the back end of it." So on my wedding night, I'm up her route, and she comes into the room and it says hello, and I was sort of going to hide it from her. But
You're just gonna have to see it at some point, surely.
exactly.
Hide and seek
Right?
champion there.
But this was like a month before the wedding, so I hadn't even took into consideration how long it takes for something to heal in that part of your body and stuff like that. But when I went in and I said what I wanted, the guy was like, and he was a Maori guy, so he didn't really understand me, and he said, "Tell a girl from Manchester, you may tell him he can't get hello down the back end of it." And she says, "You can't get hello," and I was like, "Why?" And he says, "You'd be lucky getting he." Do you know what I mean? He says, I could do hi, but I can't do hello. And I was like, no, well, fuck that. And then somebody was standing there, one of my mates, and he says, here, there's a sword. What about getting the sword in the front of it? Because it's your weapon. And I was like, fuck, that's a good idea.
Your weapon.
Like the Zelda character.
He's like, you can stab the shit out of her when you go home. And I was like, oh, so.
That's actually.
If you want to get stabbed.
Well, it was just a sword, but by the time I got back, it was a dagger, so.
Yeah.
I've never heard your dick being described as a weapon.
A weapon.
I'm annoyed.
It's not a weapon of mass destruction anyway, I know how much.
I feel like everyone's seen your dick bar me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see it at this point. But
Well, you're saying you're disappointed and then you go, I don't want to see it, but you really do.
I think
because
it
it's too late.
sounds
By
like
this point,
denial.
it
You know
hasn't
what?
shown me.
It'd be like seeing your daddy's dick.
Yeah.
See, in all fairness, I asked him. I was like, "You're gonna have to get it out." Like,
Well,
if
you're
you
a
don't ask, you
tattoo
don't
artist.
get.
That was a good reason to show you. Do you know what I mean?
I had to just check it out. But
Yeah.
to be fair, it's solid. Like, it's there. Like, it's not even.
Oh.
No, in my head, watching you boys talk about it, I always thought it would be a bit. It's bigger than what I thought.
Are you talking about the tattoo? Well, it's good that the tattoo's big, because if it's big, then there's. That's, to be honest, I'm not.
No, but it's long.
it's a-
like a
it's a
tattoo.
girthy
Fucking go again.
we got a boat out on Sunday in Spain there, and we were going around the Ully's, and the guy that was driving, a mate of mine, was like, I want to go into this wee cove and see, and we went into this cove, and it was obviously where everybody goes and fucking strips off naked, right? It was like a fucking nudist beach, but on the fucking hill was just a guy standing like this. I actually seen his third leg before I seen him.
Oh,
I swear
serious?
to
It's always
God.
the old boys.
It was this
It's always
fat-
the old boys, though. The
Oh,
European old boys,
he was
mate.
just standing like that.
big
I'm not
flapper.
joking. It was down. I genuinely was down, and I was shouting up to him, mate. Are you on OnlyFans? Are you on OnlyFans? He was just standing like that at the top of the mountain. I says, he must tie wee leg to the end of it and fucking spin round.
I mean, if I had a dick
He's
like
the
that,
fucking
I'm going about everywhere.
I
with those
would
trousers
drive
on.
down the road with hanging out the door. Like, it was unbelievable. I was just like, that's fucking, is it real? But he wasn't wearing anything, so it had to be.
How long are we talking here?
I mean, it was past his knee. And I'm not even joking, like, there was 4 of us on the boat, and every single
Both me and
one,
Sean's went, oof.
like, all the ones on the boat
Yeah,
went,
it had appreciation, basically.
they were sort of saying, if our missus is here, we're done. Like, that was it.
Aye.
Like, it was,
Can't
that
compete with
guy is fucking just standing there with a fucking shillong. Like, it's,
See, when I was playing football, I was 16, I was at Linfield. There was a black guy called Fitzroy Simpson was there. And I just came from, playing my own age group and boys your own age and
Is
generally...
this his real name, by the way?
Yeah,
Okay,
generally
just-
white lads,
yeah.
So I'm at first time changing in the change rooms with a first team / reserves. And I turn around, your big man was standing there, I swear, his cock was
Scared.
about that size. It was like a big wee baby's arm, and was just swinging there. And I looked down at mine, and I've been playing football in the cold and cycling shorts on, and I've got
You
no
were scared to get
football
there.
willy.
Oh.
No, it was gone. I just think I've been on the bangers.
The Montana.
And I seen
Like
it.
melted chewing gum
I
on the
was-
pavement, like.
I was beside him, and I was like, fuck's sake.
I know.
And then, so I turned around, and I was
Trying to get it a good bigger.
trying to whip mine about a bit, no, trying
Get some blood into it.
to get a wee bit of blood into it, like, but honestly, it was just an eye opener, like, it
Yeah.
was just like, flip. So when, now you're saying that, I can kind of gauge, I'm gauging off your
that's it.
bands, like,
Well, I used to do the door in the town, and there was a big.
to use your man's cock as a weapon.
Do you know what? Your man that worked on the door, he was a big. We used to call him John Coffee. That was his nickname. Do you know what I mean? He was fucking huge.
Yeah.
But one of the girls that worked in the place went with him, and she fucking said to everybody, like, you couldn't
In a
go
wheelchair
near her.
now?
She literally said she was crying. She was like,
Yeah, apparently it's not enjoyable. That's what I've
no,
heard.
she
Yeah,
says
it's
no.
too much.
It wasn't. It was like,
See, I've heard that, and I'm like, I think people are just telling me that to make me feel
feel
like
bad.
the big ones hurt. Like,
Daphne,
they don't want them.
Daphne, a rumour's been started by a weight guy.
They don't even like them.
Yeah,
wait,
it's
a
not even
weekend.
worth it. Don't even.
Guys, 4 inches is plenty. Anything more is a waste. That's what I've heard.
Or somebody is the motion in the ocean or something.
Yeah.
Stupid.
He's a
saying.
hard worker. He's got 4 kids. Mine works.
It's a small one, but it's a wicked
This
one.
doesn't came in 10 years.
So it's like my story. I have 4 kids and all too. You got you.
So when you do those, like when you do like Magaluf and stuff, do you find those crowds, are they more mental than normal?
Nah, like
Just festivals?
when you do it every single week of the year in different places. Like for example, I was in LA last week, Orlando on the Friday, and
Yeah.
then Saturday. Obviously Belfast this weekend, and then I'm in.
That's a big drop down in
I've-
LA, Orlando,
Mate,
Ormo Park.
Ormo Park's way bigger, believe it or not. And I'm in Beef on Tuesday, I think. But yeah, like though everything is different. So like
Yeah.
the crowd's different. People are everything from the culture, the way people dress. Like in America, they call it like they have these things called candy ravers, and there would be like girls that will have tassels on their boobs, right? Literally, and that's it. And I'm talking like that's it, and then maybe like a string just going up, like everything, everything is
terrible
out.
Place.
Everything.
Where's that case?
That's like you get like Vegas and all that stuff. So you have like that kind of style. Like over here, people are more just like where kind of I'd say anything kind of goes. But then you go to like Berlin, or everyone's the whole fashionable thing right now is basically like wearing bondage, like the whole like German techno scene and all that. Everyone's wearing like these like I call them like ski glasses. Like you remember the Oakleys?
Yeah.
Oakleys. All these girls wearing Oakleys, and then they've got like literally bondage on. So
imagine being at his gig, whapped to the chaps.
My mates love
full
it.
leather gear on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just drenched in sweat.
Like, Willy, can you zip me up the back here?
With an apple in your mouth.
When you talk bondage, are you talking like so? What
It's
are we
like
talking?
it's like oh, you really want to know?
I want to know.
It's
yeah.
like literally like you'll have girls in like actual like leather suspenders with like chains on and stuff like in the crowd. It's wild, mate. Every country.
Willie's googling flights to Berlin.
Yeah.
But then
We went to a rave in Berlin years and years ago, and it was like in
Is it
the
Berghain?
city centre.
I'm a friend.
there's a club there called Berghain, which is like the hardest club in the world to get into, and half people get rejected.
And we were just like, it was just streets. It was in the streets. It was in the middle of a city, and you had to walk till it. And we couldn't even get up to where the DJ was. We were just.
Probably love parades. Yeah, they have these massive parades over there.
But
yeah.
they were nuts. Like it was full on.
Yeah.
I've heard a rumor that there's a guy. My friend's been to Berlin. He told me there's a guy, and I think it's the Berghain toilets, where he just is in the toilets all the time and likes getting pissed on. Is he real?
You're not allowed to phone in
Why are
there.
you asking?
Yeah.
Do you think he's going into the toilet?
He's the only one here's been in the club. I want to know, is the guy real?
Berghain doesn't really have normally like headline DJs. It's just one of the hardest hardest clubs to get in the world.
Yeah.
But it's like you're supposed to put like a sticker over your phone.
So you can't-
Sometimes even take your phone. And it's the same. Have you ever heard of Soho House before?
Yes.
Yeah. So Soho House is. I used to actually have a membership for it years ago. It's like there's about 10 or 20 across the world. They're like exclusive clubs that like a lot of people go to that would be well known or want to have a bit of quiet in the city centre. And yeah, you got to put a sticker over your phone or you get banned. So it happens in some of these clubs as well. But Berghain's probably the most famous one for like being like so hard to get into.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the guy being pissed on.
And someone just told me that was James No McKegney.
It does sound right because my friend said there's like absolutely manic stuff that goes on in there.
He's talking about hard clubs to get into. He's never been an 18-year-old fella trying to go for a night out in Belfast
Yeah.
and getting turned away from
Belfast is
7 out of
class,
10
mate.
clubs.
I was getting in the clubs from a fucking 16. It's the easiest city ever.
Well, Thompson's was always hard to get into, just unless you knew the bouncers and stuff like that. I never had a hard time
Was
getting into
it?
Thompson's. I didn't, but there was people who used to get in that. Rain used to be a nightmare to get into. Like if you turned up 4 fellas to get into Rain, which was shit.
Would you have ever gone up to like Kelly's Port Rush?
Yeah, I went up to Callie's once, and no, I'm a liar. I went up to it 4 times, but I went up to it once.
That changed.
And
Very quick.
no,
You didn't
'cause
get in.
I didn't
Yeah.
want somebody watching it going, "Bollocks, you're with me." We went 4 times. What happened was one of our friends actually was from Highfield, and he brought us up. And then it got till the stage where a few people then started getting to know us, and we were going to get a kick one night, so we didn't go back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kelly's was class.
Kelly's was class, but there was also the Jet Centre in Coleraine. Did you ever do that? Or
No.
the-
Go
the-
bowling?
No, it was a rave.
Laser
Like, like back in the day, the raves that used to be like I seen Carl Cox in the Ulster Hall and all them sort of DJs back in the day when it was in the middle of the Troubles and you had demons coming over and playing the Ulster Hall and Carl Cox and all the big ones and you were going fucking hell.
He's still got.
You were
Is he doing a merge
he's-
this year?
Yeah, he's doing a merge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He loves it.
Yeah, he's always here.
the rave scene
Fucking
here was brilliant, like, because did you go to Network or anything like that? No, the Network was in the town, so it was like a Thursday night. It was fucking brilliant, like. I
So
loved it.
you would always rub shoulders with those bigger DJs as well when you're on the festivals?
When you like, I kind of in my own little world. So like, I'm kind of like not a trance DJ. I'm not like a hard dance DJ. I'm just like in the middle of both. So
Yeah.
I would mainly like headline my own shows. But then when you do like big festivals, you bump into like you kind of sometimes festivals are just loads of headliners. So you're just like on the plane with loads of mates. You know, like EDC a couple weeks ago, like I'd fly with like Armin van Buuren was on the same flight, so and then you see I just did a remix of Calvin Harris, so you speak to people like that. So you always bump in with each other, but you kind of all doing your own little. Same as probably comedy.
Yeah.
You got your own shows. You see each other at a big festival, then you go off and do your own headline
Well,
shows.
when you get to the stage, like the stage we're sort of at now, like people send messages in and say, "Why do you and Colin and Shane that gig together? Do you not like each other?" And we're like,
You've got your own thing
we're
going
doing
on.
our own thing going
Yeah.
on, and it's not.
If
and
you had all 4 of us on, that's
that's
the
a
money
bumper from
down
Yes,
substantially.
That's a big rider.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
do
monsters.
you know my first ever time when somebody asked me Somebody asked me, "What do you want for your rider?" I didn't know.
No, this is funny. I think people probably watching this will probably understand. Like, people don't understand what riders are, and that you always see people like leak on like TikTok or whatever, like who work backstage going, "This was like Guns N' Roses rider or Metallica's," and it's like crazy things like doves being thrown around and stuff.
All
but,
brown M&Ms in a bowl.
But yeah, we should explain that a rider is literally.
And I didn't know, and
Yeah.
then I was sort of like, "Oh, what's this?" And they were like, "Oh, no, just to get the stuff and stuff." And I thought they were talking about a person, and I was like, "Oh, just a wee lottery girl. It doesn't matter." Like,
Oh, hey, terrible answer to give.
like, what do you mean?
Schofield.
Yeah.
What's Paddy's rider? Just a couple of wee lads.
I says a wee lottery girl. I don't really care.
It's not fussy.
Jeez.
I didn't know what a raider was. I just didn't know.
Yeah, but a ride means maybe a ride.
A rider.
Yeah.
What would be on your rider? What do you know?
We have like a production one, so it would be like you has to have a specific like lasers, specific colours of lights, blah blah blah. But in terms of actual hospitality, I mean, mine's a bit. I wouldn't say mine's diva. You tell me. I think it's got to be a certain hotel, like so, like a 5-star or something like that.
Yeah.
You have a suite. I have to have a sauna in the hotel that I normally stay at because I love.
Fuck you are, Diva.
I know, but-
Ours is a bag of jelly babies and water.
I
for
know, but you
example.
got DJs, man. We travel the world like, and a very like people don't see the side of it. We go from like country to country like every day, like half a million air
yeah, it's
miles,
exhausting.
and like your health is, especially after the whole Avicii thing, like the whole health thing is like mental health thing's big. So you'd like,
I mean, if we could demand saunas and 5-star hotels,
Yeah.
absolutely.
yeah,
do.
We'd end up not
but there's a lot.
getting- Do you?
Don't, mate. You don't at the start. When I was doing like
Don't get them, but if I demand them.
when I was doing small little clubs, of course, you're lucky to get salt and vinegar crisp or something like,
Yeah.
you know. But nowadays, yeah, that would be like you'd have to have a certain hotel. But then when it comes to like the hospitality rider, which is like your drinks and stuff. Willy comes to me to loads of my gigs. Mine ain't too bad. I think it's a bottle. Been the most expensive thing I've got.
He's sitting there saying that, and that makes me think he's sitting going, "You're actually going late here, Ben." You're not telling
Nah.
me."
His is
1942 tequila, which is like a Don Julio, which is like a nice. It's quite expensive tequila, isn't it? But it's like I do it purposely so that when the promoter comes, you like the guy who owns the club, I'm like, right, let's all have a shot of this. It's like a nice tequila, and then you'd have like 20 bottles of water, 20 bottles of beer, 2 bottles of vodka.
He looks after me. He gets me non-alcoholic beers into his.
Yeah.
So when I go, I
doesn't
can
You're
have.
not drinking then?
No.
No, I don't
No,
drink.
good lad.
So
I was off it for 6 months, and then went to Ibiza.
this is my 6th year now. So it
Brilliant.
is. But
But that's kind of how we
you
met.
always have fruit in yours too.
Yeah,
There's
I've got
always
fruit.
fruit bowls. And
That's good. Like, it's
protein
healthy stuff,
bars
on.
and-
But me and Willy kind of met during when Willy was in his madder days, and I was in my madder days. We kind of met on more crazier circumstances. Yeah, so like he would be more a
But
part
you're
of it.
getting older
Could you
now.
just tell
too.
the
What did
story of how
you?
you met?
But you can,
35.
yeah, but you can,
35.
yeah, you can tell the story if you want, like how we. Like those really persistent phone calls and
can't
they're
even-
begging me to come hang around with you. He was.
No, somebody put us in touch. I can't remember.
Were you
who it was.
tattooing?
Yeah. It was for a tattoo at the start, and then, but back then, this was when I was like clean on it. Like I was a pure cokehead, like.
No, badly.
And then he was too, and we didn't end up meeting up at the first few times for whatever reason.
I was doing my. I did my first show at SSE
SSE.
Arena. It was like my first big
Were
one.
you living here at that stage?
No, I only lived here about 3 years. So from 2 or 3 years. But yeah, it was. I was flying over to do what they do, like press days, where you have to come and like just do interviews like Call FM and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I remember just being told I didn't have as many tattoos as I have now, and I remember being told Willy was great. But I just remember I had to fly home early, and you were actually offering me money to come and hang around with you.
That's bullshit.
Oi, if I go back on my archive, you was going, mate. You was like, mate, I'll pay for you. Was going, I'll pay for you to come here, please. Just like, don't. I was about to fly home. Do you remember?
Bullshit.
You was.
I've never paid to see anybody.
Oi,
To be fair, I remember inviting you up, and
Right.
we were on it, which was a bit.
but you
weird
didn't want to
phone call.
stop because you was like, you remember you wanted me to hang
Yeah,
out.
I needed it just so the way I worked back then was I went on it heavy, so I would just keep tattooing, and that was almost my justification
Yes.
for staying on it.
Yes. Oh, I'm doing this just so I can work.
But
work,
if I
work.
stop working, then I gotta go home.
Yeah.
And I'd pre-arranged to meet him. We were meant to meet up, and then, as always back then, I was clean on it.
Yeah.
And then he couldn't come, and then I was sort of like,
I was at the airport when I
oh shit, I'm gonna have to go home here, and I was like clean on it. You know what I mean? And in my head, I'm like, no, I need to keep going. You know,
Yeah.
and that's why I was kind of like,
I could tell that.
just come down, hang out. But we ended up missing each other like a few times, and then by the time we did meet up, I was sober.
Yeah.
And I still think to this day.
That was the only regret I've ever had, is that me and Willy never got to party, because like one of my best mates, and like knowing our personalities, I kind of, you know.
But it might have been dangerous too.
Probably, because we probably would still, to this, even today, would still been going mad, and that probably would have.
We always said we just wish we had
One
night.
had one
One or
just
two
a
nights.
couple of stories to tell them. See, I think that's what people have a misconception of me, because they think they hear my stories and they think that's the way he still is. They don't see
There's a
the
balance.
man.
There's a balance.
They don't see the man that has 4 kids in the house and mortgage, and you know. I have them stories, but I don't have any new stories. You know, now I was off a drink for 6 months. People were like, "Oh, you're off a drink. Oh, what's wrong with you? You're fucking gay. You're this and that." And I was like, "No, I'm just really busy in work, and I'm pushing till a certain stage.
You wouldn't
here,
be
so
able
I
to
need
do the career that you
I
do
need to
if you're
be
on it all the
on
time.
fucking point myself."
Yeah.
And then went to Ibiza, and I sort of went fuck it, and just went a wee bit mad. But it was for a couple of days. Do you know what I mean? And then
As long as you can
rein it in. Like I was away there,
It's,
and I
it's balance, and it's balance.
It is.
Because you can probably gig when drunk, but it's a problem when you can't do that because you don't realise
I'm shit.
how much
You
you're
can't-
taking.
I
I'm
wouldn't say
shit
I'm-
when I'm drunk.
So am I.
It's not. It's
If
not,
I get 2 beers or 2 drinks in me, I'm great. Any more than that, complete bollocks.
I can't imagine what it'd be like on gear though.
How steaming were you at the boxing?
Yeah.
Fucking blocked, my sir. So there was what, 8 fights?
I think you were more black.
We were wet.
I was only blocked.
Me and the wife
Promise.
watched it, and we were in stitches.
At him?
Drunk. Oh,
He stole
in
the show.
Stitches. And at one point at the end,
I got interviewed.
and then there's some guys really keen to talk to you, and he's just standing there with his phone out, he's busted to talk to you, and he's not grasping the fact there's a camera in your face, and it's not the time to be trying to get a chat or a phone call.
We did comedians boxing for a charity.
Oh, sick.
But because I've cerebral palsy, I can't box because of brain damage. So
Nothing
you
to
can't,
do with just being a
you
shit
can't punch me in the
fighter.
head. I'd knock your fucking
I thought
head.
you were going to say,
Aye.
can't get the hand in the glove or something.
So,
There's a bit of her
Fair
in
enough.
to get his hand in it.
so I was ring guard. What'd you say better?
There's a bit of hair in there, you get it.
So I was ring girl, so I dressed up in like a wee sexy ring girl outfit. And because I wasn't fighting,
Which, can I just say, no one asked him to do that.
no one.
That's just
No
what
one
you do on
says,
weekends.
"Here, Willie, do you know what'd be really funny if you dressed up?"
Oh, really?
People
I
just
just
says,
showed up.
"Willie, can you do like the ring thing and get in with the sign so that you're taking part?" And he went, "Oh, you want me to be a ring girl? I'll have to get an outfit." Nobody suggested that.
I didn't tell
Just-
anyone was doing it. I just thought, in for a penny, in for a pound, we'll fucking go for it.
I was
Yeah.
right.
So showed up looking like Sam Smith in this wee fucking pink number that didn't fit me.
Wanker. Willie Wanker. And the chocolate factory. He likes the chocolate factory. He likes licking a wee bit of arsehole. Did you know that?
Did
Aye.
I mean, it's not like my hobby.
I can see
Well,
you guys
I'll
have
do
gone
it.
bit of-
very in depth in other podcasts by knowing stuff like this. Yeah.
a wee bit of...
Eating arse to party is this new wave fucking idea,
No,
and you
listen,
can't grasp
It's
it.
just a sexual preference, is it?
see if you know
I did.
a
If it's
Chinese
not,
that's dirty, you don't eat from it.
You might if
I-
you're.
I
yeah,
agree.
Nah, if you're steaming at 4 a.m, it's the only one open. You absolutely do. You absolutely do.
Wait, when you get to that coke bank, that coke bank situation, mate. You know when you're just googling amputated midgets. It's
yeah.
like, oh. We've all been there, mate. Yeah, that is.
Amputee midgets.
Yeah.
Damn,
There's like
Do you ever take coke? You used to? Back in the day?
I was
Coke
a
Zero
bad
just now,
coke
like,
addict for a while. like,
Would you let somebody look up your coked up porn search history for 10 grand?
Yeah, because
Yeah, 'cause
mine's was never that.
Oh god.
Like this is like I would have.
Mine's just
typed in
tits spelt wrong.
Wee girl from Mishaps. That was our forbidden
taboo.
fruit. Do you know what I mean?
Protestant getting sucked off.
Orange man put the flute up a dude. Do you know what I mean? It was that like I do a bit on stage, and my bit is like you go incognito mode and you're in typing in and it's what you're thinking, you're talking to someone, and I'm basically calling somebody in the crowd a wanker, and then I say, and then you type in incognito mode. Now I'm not saying you're a wanker, but I'm just saying you're like me, you know, you're in the fucking wanking mood. And then I put in stepsister stuck in the washing machine wearing an armad hat. Do you know what I mean? Something ridiculous like that that's never going to be on there. Do you know what I mean? So it's sort of, you try and find out, like, midget porn isn't really...
Do you ever
because
type in Belfast?
Oh, fuck.
Like, you
if
think you want to see it until you hear
Yeah.
you hear our
Just
accent
like
of porn being like, "Oh, I love that." You're like, "Ugh."
Girl and fella.
Like, well, I don't.
What, you can look at like local. It brings you up accents, does it?
Yeah, you can just
There's a
look
girl
up.
and fella in, like, the Bog Meadows.
Pretty,
And it's
pretty
like
bad,
it's like filmed on a 3210.
Yeah, the one-
And it's like,
Somebody's in the background playing.
Where are you originally from?
Cornwall.
Cornwall. So like that.
Yeah.
doesn't even. That's not even in your world. Like,
No.
the first thing that you meet somebody, it's not. You're going, is he Catholic or Protestant? That it's so far away from.
But
it.
my mum went to Catholic school, and she was they went from Catholic side, and then my mum and dad's side is all like from Leeds and Manchester. So when I moved here, like I've got a bit of Irish as well, so it's like I'm just a bit of an inbred, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm not either like Protestant or Catholic or anything. I'm just like a random.
Yeah.
I'm from a farmer, so I'm kind of like a bit of a country bumpkin. We call it. You call
Really?
cold cheese.
Right, hold on. Do your real accent.
What do you mean?
Oh,
Go
yeah,
on,
'cause
you
this-
have to
this
do it.
isn't the
My real accent, if he was my mate, it'd be a bit like,
Video
it's a
is.
bit like, alright mate, how's it going? Like,
proper.
He started speaking like this one day to us. I swear we couldn't stop laughing for about 20 minutes.
He's like
you have to do the rest of the
like
podcast.
if someone was horny, you'd say like, she's a right Randy mare. A Randy mare. Yeah, a Randy mare.
right, Randy. It reminds me of
So instead of saying
Willy MTV program.
what do you call it? Your man curtains in
Yes.
it?
yeah, this country.
Oh,
That's
man,
where I'm from.
show.
That's where I'm from. That's
Is
my
it?
ancestor. I'm from Swindon, and then I was
Shit,
Cornwall before
here,
that.
I found a football shirt belonging to you in my garage. Remember somebody sent it? It was like is it a
Oh, Swindon's.
Swindon? Yeah.
Oh, no, Bristol City.
The red one?
Yeah, I played for Bristol City, so I was
Yeah,
16.
yeah.
I want to hear.
Paul
What,
McAreevy, who played
Mackers up in
Mackers.
Blues.
Yeah, but he was at Swindon. That's where he went.
good
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I was from Cornwall, then I lived in near Cheddar, where the cheese is made.
Is Cornwall pasties,
Yeah.
or is that a different
Yeah,
place?
pasty's incredible.
But
Yeah.
that like they have the right to it because that's a Cornish pasty.
Yeah,
isn't
and
it?
to be honest, when I moved here a couple of years ago, I was a bit disappointed because I went to go and get a pasty and chips here. You guys they looked at me
It's
like,
like
"What
minced
are
meat."
you on about?" And I was like, "I want a pasty and chips." They're like, "No, we don't do that." So yeah, they didn't do like a Cornish pasty and chips
You
here.
go
No.
bakery.
You need to go to a bakery,
Bakery.
and it's
Yeah.
like
You wouldn't get chips in
it's
the
like
bakery?
stew in a pastry.
Yeah.
So it's not the same. Like
I've had
But-
a Cornish pasty over his mum's.
And it's
I
not very
tattooed
good.
it. I think that was the first time we tattooed.
Do you want to know the history of how a Cornish pasty came about?
yeah, we
In-
went
in-
from midget porn to how
in-
Cornish pasties are
How
made.
it's made.
Hundreds of years ago in the mines, workers would go into the mines and obviously need to eat
you
something
have
for
to
lunch.
do it in the Cornish accent. but-
Yeah.
Right, so hundreds of years ago, right? How is that bad?
That's amazing.
So listen, it's not
love it.
bad.
No,
it's good, it's good.
It's
Right,
fucking
right,
great.
right.
And if you were having any English accent, that's the
That's
one to have.
yeah.
Right, hundreds of years ago, right? We went into the. I do sound like that anyway, don't I?
Right, nobody's allowed to laugh.
That's only me turning it up a little bit.
Yeah,
Go,
no,
go,
yeah,
go,
we'll
I'm
go.
not
laugh.
going to do the rest
You
because
want to laugh on him.
mine is kind of like that anyway.
Go ahead.
Hundreds of years ago, they'd go into the mines and or used to like.
No, we're not laugh. Do the accent. We won't laugh. We
I
promise.
can't do the accent.
Go ahead, dude.
Go ahead.
I can't do it no more, mate. Is Bristol that bad?
No, it's great.
I get
It's
this-
it's just a shock factor. It'd be
Yeah.
like him turning around speaking like Asian.
What do you?
know what I mean?
Yeah, but my accent is
Which I'm
already.
gonna do next.
But that is my accent
The
already.
history of the 12th.
Do
and
you not think
Asian.
my accent's already like that? Maybe I'm just toned down a little bit.
No, not at all.
So I say a little bit, then I go a little bit.
So
Like, it's not much difference. between
You've
that.
travelled so much, so you have that twang where it's kind of like,
Yeah.
you know when you get these people who are on the road all the time and they have this.
Men
sort
that
of-
calls it a bullshit accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was in America and I was working, my wife phoned me, and I was in the office of Miami Inc. and I'd been in full conversation. And what I didn't realize was over the week I've kind of changed
You
my
develop the
accent.
accent so they can hear you.
Because I'm talking like this, and they're going, "What?" Nobody understands the words, so I'm, like I don't know how to do it. I'm slowing it down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't do it.
yeah,
You
I
can't
made me do it.
I can't think of it.
Cyberbullying.
Yeah.
And you do your wee, it's a wee twang, you know. And
When I went to the States, I genuinely did talk. They got there, no fucking shit,
Yeah.
fucking do that there, and your man.
They don't understand the
Nobody
words.
knows what- It's fucking gobbledygook. So then I was in America. See, when I came back, like my dad, all these people working for him and stuff like that, and I was working with them. And so I came back and they were like, "What do you expect from America? I'm home. I hear his American accent." And I walked out and I was like, "All right, what's the crack?" And they were like, "Fuck, do you hear it? Do you hear it?" But I had
That's just
Twang.
like-
my voice had genuinely, and my speech had changed.
It does. It does when you're around people. You just
Because
naturally do it.
people didn't and in America it's not even just like you're in one part of America and they speak like that. Everybody's from everywhere.
Yeah.
So you have to adapt this accent to speak to Canadians and fucking everything. So
Especially I'm in Miami, and it's all South Americans and.
yeah.
But that's
Papi.
why
Hispanic.
I
Hey,
speak.
papi.
Hey, see
Yeah,
my piss on grand.
Daddy.
Don't do it because you don't sound like it.
Ed Pappy. I do. That's it.
You don't? You sound
You're
like
on
a
the
fucking
you're on the
Ewok.
streets of LA. Ewok. What episode of Star Wars did an Ewok come out and go, "Hey, Pappy, I like your lightsaber." That's it.
I think the Northern Irish one's a hard one to get though because like
Yeah.
when I moved over here, I just started saying you all the time.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go,
Can't fake our
you.
accent.
The best way.
And everyone thinks it's a horrible accent. Like, everyone goes, "Oh, you'd hate it. It's a rough, like stinking accent." I love the Northern Irish accent. It's
I
brilliant.
think our
great.
accent is genuinely the hardest accent in the world.
It's quite aggressive.
because it's such
Enacted.
a
Yeah,
it's
people
such a
can't get it.
mix of like Scottish and Irish and loads of different places. But it's the reason I don't sound like where I'm from, because I had to do speech therapy when I was younger, because cerebral palsy.
Didn't know that. You've never said it before.
Have you not seen my bit about it? And because it was in your job when I was younger, I couldn't speak. So now I speak partially because I over enunciate. But the way I describe it is the reason I don't sound like it is because everyone in Belfast speaks like they've cerebral palsy.
But I wish.
Because you go around the street and everyone's like, "Hey, you walking down, bro? You
It's
having
quite a slurring accent.
And
There's a lot of slur.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got quite a few mates because obviously I live in the sticks over here, so I'm down like all my mates are Colchies. That's how you say it, Colchie, right?
Yeah, Colchie,
Like a
aye.
country boy. And yeah, it's proper like country bumpkin, and I could not understand a word of that. Like it does seem. I seem to think like the south or the more into the country you go down south from here, it's really quite hard to understand some of them.
But that's the nightmare with our accent too. Go 5 minutes up a fucking road, they speak completely
Yeah.
different.
Yeah,
Completely
You go like
different.
Hillsborough somewhere, or well, no, not even like if you go to say Hollywood or Malone or whatever,
Yes.
it's like very like everyone tries to speak like they're
Yeah, 10 minutes down the
Yeah, like
motorway,
the
you're
Queen.
here,
Yeah.
where they sound entirely different.
Sound
Yeah.
different characters. Then you go to Lauren 10 minutes away, which is just Scottish or something.
Yeah.
Scottish, Scots spelling me then?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
there's times we've driven like 2 hours and you end up in fucking like fucking just
Castletown.
somewhere like that, and I'm like, I don't understand a
fine.
word anyone
So
is saying.
you'd find that even yourself, even
Oh,
living
yeah.
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we have friends who live in like Fenton and places, and when they talk, I'm like, I have to take a second because
Hey,
I
you
can't
fucking
understand.
do, you fucking doing that too, you fucking who you. That's Nuri.
Oh yeah, you're her. There's a
fucking
guy.
hell.
There's a guy on TikTok that says like you.
Oh, that's Donkey Boy.
Oh,
yeah,
Donkey something,
he's
he's
a something her.
He's
Like a
just
her.
him,
What's
like-
up, you
City
fucking
her.
hurry?
City her.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then you've got like,
fucking putting a spanner on this fucking tractor, hey, you hurry.
and then
So
you've
is that
got
would that be hard for you to understand still?
No, I understand County
Yeah.
Antrim, but like when you go down to Newry
That's class. I find it
in the
funny, yeah.
Armagh, them boys, they tend to they sound like a moped, and then but they're very quiet. They go in and go, fucking here, fucking put that big hoof, fucking got the fucking milking fucking cows, fucking doing that in the red diesel one then.
And then
you're going, what?
you'd go up to
Nice
somewhere like
cattle.
Fenton where it's quite droll.
Ah,
Talk dead fucking slow. And you're like, that's terrible accent.
And
but
is
that's,
this because I don't know why, but TikTok's supposed to know you, right? It's your algorithm, so I always come across lads with that accent revving their engines, doing donuts with like normally some of our music to the background. Or what's the big one at Portrush? They all take the car.
Scene now.
Yeah, they all go up there with their big exhaust in the car. I love all that stuff there. It's brilliant, mate. Some of them.
do they blast your music? Is that your big crowd?
Yeah, to be fair, like and some of,
Davis is right over there, right? Like in a state.
yeah.
And they would play your music over the top.
Yeah, mate, and they're the people, and it sounds mad, but like nowadays your music blows up online more from people that like use your tracks for like drifting videos and that kind of thing, and that it just makes it go viral. So yeah, a lot of these like lads
Yeah.
are really helping your tunes get a lot bigger, mate. So
Because that would have been the first time I ever heard your music is when I first got a car. And you know when you first get a car,
get
your
a
mates will
mix-
just
a
drive
set.
anywhere
Yeah.
with 5 of your mates, and they would just blast.
SoundCloud and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
SoundCloud's like, I mean, I hate SoundCloud in a way because it's free, so like everyone's getting your music for
So
free.
you get nothing from that.
No. But then saying that, mate, in music in general, we don't make a lot of money from. Like
Yeah.
people think that like if you're in the charts or you got music on radio, like one of my tracks on the radio at the moment doing well, like you would make one from more show probably than you would all year from.
Yeah,
like,
It's similar to
yeah.
like people think, oh, you must be flying from them podcasts. You don't make tremendous amounts.
Whatever.
It sells your tickets.
Whenever
Exactly,
we were in America,
exactly,
we
yeah.
met a fellow who was involved in the music industry, and he was telling us that Toni Braxton, do you remember she had a #1 hit?
Unbreak My Heart.
Unbreak My
It's a
Heart,
fucking
which was
tune.
in for fucking months, right?
Yeah.
She got 5 cents for every record sale.
I mean, that's still a lot compared
That's
to what
actually-
you get now.
that's decent.
Yeah.
Compared to what she should have got, like
Yeah.
it was just pure.
Yeah.
But that's the issue now is like they're not even getting that because with streaming,
Yeah.
they're getting 0.00.
You have to make your money from your shows. That's it.
Yeah, I think one of my songs, like one of my songs about 3 years ago, we did 1 billion streams like on TikTok on it, and then it equated to like I don't know 30-40 million across.
Imagine
like,
if you got a pound.
Yeah, spot exactly. But in the old days, if you sold 10,000 copies on the vinyl, but you got a $5 each one or whatever, you'd make a fortune, right?
Yeah.
But now I'd be lucky to make like I think like for every 1 million streams you do on Spotify, I think the artist you get about 1,500 quid. for a million, yeah. So you do 10 million, it's 15 grand, and this sounds a lot of money, but it's not. That's like pop star #1 record numbers. So it's but then performing's mad. If you sell tickets, you make mad money, but there's not much money.
It's different. Like you won't make your money really from records anymore.
Exactly.
But there's now more of an opportunity for people who aren't mainstream, don't have the PR machine behind them.
Yeah.
You can still sell out big.
Yeah.
That's what we're finding with comedy.
Absolutely.
There's no industry here. There's no TV.
You use social media to gather that following, and then you harness that into shows, and that's really like I can really rate that.
Comedians, but even tattoo artists now, these are like rock stars now too.
Yeah.
Like in a sense.
What do you mean?
Well, just like a tattoo artist was just a guy that was in a fucking.
It's like a pilot.
Whereas like it's like, oh, I got tattooed by him, or
Yeah,
do you know, you have a bit of stature with.
Especially with my tattoos and being so expensive. Somebody wears one of my sleeves. It's a status symbol because they know you spend thousands.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's like wearing a Rolex. It's like
You just wouldn't have been seen as artists.
No.
Do you know it was called a tattoo artist?
Yeah.
We still aren't seen as artists. Like
comedy's not art.
comedians, like, we don't have.
It's not classified.
It's not classified as
isn't
an
it?
art. No.
Not classified.
I would class a DJ same as a comedian.
Yeah.
Performing arts.
See what you were saying there about the rock stars thing. I think that's part of the why I got away with the madness for so long, because everyone knew what I was doing. I was clean on it. But I was like, he's just a tattoo artist. You know
If you
what
were
I mean?
admin in the office.
Yeah, if I was a
you-
school teacher or a
but-
policeman,
But
or
you were in that environment.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
people
yeah.
was like,
And everyone
oh,
eggs you on because like, oh yeah, I'm in review today. Yeah, sweet.
and then as long as they got good tattoos, they didn't give a shit.
Do people ever meet you and get disappointed that you're not like a maniac anymore, or you're not on it 24/7?
I have a lot of people who meet me and say I'm not the person they thought I was, but the reason for that is because my social media is so clean that it actually you're thinking quite boring, and then they come down to the shop and it's actually quite mental.
Yeah.
and,
Oh, there's
and
a bit of crack.
But I just keep my social media PC. There's no, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if there was a camera in our tattoo studio all day,
Well, how
we'd
people
be
would see-
arrested.
yeah.
Like the stuff we talk about is
It's very similar to this podcast, actually.
It's mental. You know what I mean? That's why the customers love it. So usually when they meet us, they're like, "No, you're actually more mental than we thought."
Yeah.
Because the social media is so tame. But I think that's a better way. Because keep your social media clean.
Yeah.
Because dickheads out there just.
Apart from Ben Nicky, who's the most famous person you've tattooed that you can talk about? Is there anyone
Yeah,
that
the
you can't talk about?
You'll split the crowd a little bit with your footballers there.
Yeah.
Queen.
One would like a bit.
Put a dagger on
What's
my
my dog to
tits.
have?
corgi?
One would like corgi.
The England player, the one that was in the World Cup. What's his
Yeah,
name?
so at the minute probably Calvin Phillips. He's just won a treble with
Man
Man City. And then Ruben Neves, he just got a big move here to Saudi Arabia. They would probably be the biggest footballers at the minute.
That'd be a niche. They all wanted to get you done.
Yeah,
Rad
that's
Kant.
good, man.
I seen my mate Matt Rad Kant in Ibiza last
Did
week.
they?
You done his tattoo?
Big Fenerbahce fan I am.
Aye. I'm sure
Yeah,
you
I've done most of his.
Fenerbahce's actually the Catholic club over there. Did you
Is
know?
it?
Yeah.
So, well, do you know
Fuck off,
what?
is
Yeah.
it?
Split.
I'm hoping-
Yeah, they have
Split-
Galatasaray and Fenerbahce. And Galatasaray, like Graham Souness was Galatasaray.
Oh, that's a big flag, wasn't it?
Yeah, he would then put it in the middle of the thing where
Well,
Fenerbahce actually has a Catholic.
He used to
connection.
always get me tickets for the old firm, so I would love to go over to Turkey now and go to their derby because I hear
Listen, I'll bring you to Saturday match.
I hear that.
Because you can't go if you're a Rangers fan because they're not allowed in.
I know.
And we're not allowed in the Ibrox.
I've heard that the derbies are actually
Dangerous.
more mental
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
than
It's literally dangerous.
You know,
you walking down with
Snapping
the
to it, isn't it?
Fenerbahce tab. Like when we went to Turkey, he had a.
are they allowed away
Galatasaray-
fans?
Yeah, they are. But it's like
It's not
if
just
they
that.
if they seen a white guy with a Fenerbahce tab on, like they would fucking stab you.
Yeah.
In Turkey, you're allowed to carry a blade. You're allowed to cut somebody. You're not allowed to stab them.
Is that where there's so many hair transplants?
That's
over there?
that's a law over there.
That's why there's so
Not
many hair
stabbing, not
transplants.
stabbing, just cutting.
As in like a fight, we're just whipping each other with this.
Swashbuckling.
Are you fast stab that
Have you
time?
been to Turkey before?
It's like Glasgow.
No.
It's like Glasgow.
You've been to Turkey before?
No, my teeth for real.
Mine aren't. I got them in England though.
Did you?
Yeah, I got mine done in England years ago. But I tell you what though, when you're at the airport, though,
Natural hairline, natural teeth.
Look around there, not there.
mate, when you're at the
Ones
airport,
that- ones that are left.
there's like hundreds of kids there just with just bandages where they've had a hair transplant.
Serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
and then girls in
Kids,
wheelchairs.
By the way, I was there to
Like
DJ.
the
Yeah,
BBL.
I was there actually there to DJ.
Of course you were, mate.
Yeah, and get a reduction.
Yeah.
So I want to get a sword on my thing, you know.
You
Yeah.
wanted to match me, did you?
Yeah. But no, it's
You want to
yeah.
take a day sitting?
Yeah. But no, when you're over there, it's just loads of young lads with like fake t-shirts on, fake shoes on that they've obviously bought them like market over there.
say,
And then,
On your way out, you used to go out to Turkey, and on your way out, they were all wearing Slazenger. And then
Slazenger, was that the brand to have?
no, from JD Sports.
Oh, okay.
So your plane would have been all people from Belfast. They would have been wearing Slazenger, right? And then 3 days later, you were sitting on the beach, and the guy had an Armani towel,
Yeah,
Armani shorts,
yeah.
and flip flops, and you're going,
Yeah.
that cop was wearing Slazenger the way over. So I was like, get over there and fucking.
I noticed that over here is that you get loads of people I always see like online like trying to buy fakes and sell fakes. Like everyone loves it over here. I'm like, guys, who cares? Just go get a plain t-shirt, man, or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Some of I have stuff that's real, but sometimes I get put off wearing it because of the fakes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because you're like,
Oh fuck the shit I get about wearing Stone Island.
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to bring
always
it up
had-
because it annoys
I've
me.
I've got Stone shorts on
I've
today, and I've got a
always-
Rolex on, so I feel like a right
I've
dick.
always wore Stone Island. Like I remember wearing Stone Island, and people was going, "What is that?" Like,
Yeah.
in the early 90s.
do you do that thing when you're trying on?
And you watch Football Factory once, and you're like,
You got
yeah.
the mirror, you got the mirror on.
Do you
on
know,
the,
we were a wee bit of like football lads, like, you know, so we did work back in the day. I remember seeing Aberdeen ones wearing it when I was like 13, and I was like, that's class.
remember the umbrella? The
Yeah.
umbrella jackets?
We
They were
wouldn't
class.
know.
When CP
No,
Company
the
was
Protestant
cool.
It was red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Alright.
See, Hollister was when I was growing up. That was what everyone fucking wore, and
We,
then it died
all
out.
the Catholics wore
as
Ben
in the
Shermans.
shop?
Yeah.
All the Catholics wore Ben Sherman.
Right, Ben the German.
Broads wore Ben Sherman too.
What? No, I know they did, but he was saying about Lambretta. We wouldn't have wore Lambretta because of the actual symbol. And Reebok, like
Was it like a
Reebok
wee-
had a Union Jack
Like
on
a
it.
wee
Actually,
dartboard thing, wasn't it? Like a wee,
Yeah,
wee,
yeah, it was like a
target.
RAF sort of thing. And then Reebok, they had a Union
That was good
Jack
for
at
you,
the
Jen.
end.
Was it gonna
And
sight?
everybody used to black it out. Because we like Reebok,
Serious?
and they used to black out the flag. Like, it's fucking ridiculous
Yeah,
shit.
it's- yeah.
Like, when you think about it, do you know what I mean? But it was just the way it was. Even now, like, somebody would put, what the fuck are you doing wearing that?
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Because that's an East Belfast brand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, but I get stick about it. People goes, "We're pulling it in the pod."
Get the Belgian.
Fake fucking Stone Island.
What brand's that?
DJK,
Oh,
James
that's
Carr.
yeah, I know him.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
messaged me yesterday actually randomly.
He's a nice guy. Nice guy. Gives me free stuff, so I'm like
Yeah.
wrapping it because I'll take
I used
anything
to
free.
go in there when I first come over here. He used to give me Stone Line jackets and all that. I was
Yeah.
loving it. It's like, yeah, cheers.
He stopped doing all them and all now. He just does his own stuff. But
Yeah,
it's still
fair.
it's still nice shit. Like,
There actually isn't many brands over here in terms of clothing brands. There isn't loads of brands.
no,
Yeah, that's
no,
probably a niche
there's
for
really
that.
not. I meant to ask you because I saw this completely different train of conversation, but you did a remix of Miracle by Calvin Harris.
Yeah.
Is that and that's an official one?
Yeah.
How does that come about?
I
You
ju-
get to remix a song by Calvin Harris.
Because you were just like like I said, we'd know all the other DJs. So when Calvin did that song, I just replied to one of his stories. I was like, "Mate, class! Like you brought a trance record and put it into the charts a little
Yeah.
bit because it was quite a trancey record for like the radio." Right?
I was like an old,
Yeah.
like it was like a '90s feel to a
So he
modern
just-
song.
he
I
just
You
love
probably
it.
would have had a lot of
Yeah.
funerals you went to play it, did you?
But it will, and that's what I'll get
That's
back
the
to.
thing here. Like, Protestant funerals, they would have a lot of rave music playing at them because people at a certain age died.
Yeah.
And then,
DJ Sammy Heaven, I've seen people get buried to that.
whereas Catholics wouldn't do that, right? But my friend died about 6 weeks ago, and he was a DJ. And outside his house, they were playing rave, and I was just standing there, and everyone was looking at me because I had said on the podcast, Catholics don't play rave music at a funeral. So when we're standing outside the door, I seen everybody just turn and look at me because they had this blasting outside the door, and I was like, well, that fucking just changes everything I said.
There's certain tunes I've noticed over here. Everyone loves over it. Like you bits and pieces. You got
It's an anthem here.
Yeah, I'm feeling it, which should be more the Rangers side of it. Obviously,
Yeah.
you hear all the time, but
Yeah.
everyone over here loves it.
Silence
Yeah,
or
Delirium's
by
like-
Delirium
like
is
Beach Ball.
massive.
Beach Ball, yeah.
Beach Ball.
Kane,
Yeah, and then came Beach Ball, which I'm feeling it is the same bass line as
Yeah.
that. Yeah, there's just certain tracks here.
Warrior by Warrior.
Yeah, but that's a tune. That's a tune.
Yeah, trance is here. Weirdly, it's just one of the places trance is still mad.
That's
like,
why-
we still fucking love
And
trance.
kids grow up with it because their dads love it. Kids really grow up with it, and it's
Yeah.
been like that for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing. Do you remember being like a child and your parents listening to music and it sort of influenced you? Like I loved Queen because my dad listened to a lot of Queen stuff.
Love Queen.
Well, that was music was shite too, and I don't listen to it. But my daughter now is 14, she'll be 15 this year, Katie, and I went up the stairs. Now you know I love my hip hop, you know my gangster rap.
You wouldn't think it, would you?
I love my 90s rap. I just love it. I'm walking up the stairs the other day and I could hear this filthy beat I was just like, oh, what's that there? That's a bit tasty. And then I go into the room and she's blasting NWA and then Biggie and all.
Class.
And I remember just walking in and I just looked at her and I just went,
Total respect.
Yeah. But it's not cool when your dad does it. It's not cool.
That's what the one
and I walked out, and then she's used to being in the motor with me, and we always have the hip hop on and filthy bass and the other day, I don't know, I think something happened on my phone. I just do the radio. Very rarely do I listen to radio. She got into the wagon and then gave off to me because the radio was on, because she wanted the hip hop, and so she grabs my phone, Spotify straight on, 50 Cent, where we go, and I remember just thinking, this is class. Yeah. So we're now going to the concerts together.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And, you know, I've stuff booked this year and stuff, and I think that's quality because it just shows you. You're talking about the trance.
Yeah.
What we listen to will affect the next generation. You know.
I listen to a broad range. Like when we went to America, first time I went was in 2001, 2000. And Eminem and stuff was just coming out and all that there. Yeah. So I wouldn't have even listened to rap music. Like it was never something that would have been on.
I thought the Blink-182s and Wheatuses and all that kind of that Offspring.
Yeah,
some
they're not.
Yeah, love that
they're
era.
like divorced dad rock now. People are like, no, that's still my music.
I love that era.
Rock.
That's when we were like 30 years.
Like, when American Pie first came out, it was like that. That was the era of like Blink-182. I loved that.
So they were big when I was like 5 or 6, but because everyone was listening to them back then, I would still listen to them now.
They were the reason why I had a lesbian haircut.
Yeah,
I came back from America and everybody was like, what the fuck? I dyed blonde hair with no.
You frosted tips?
Have you pictures?
Yeah.
You just sent me one. When I see that.
Sean.
Why not?
That's my brother. I thought he was going to get it.
That would have been way too quick.
I was like, what the fuck?
There's Blue Peter. I've been paired earlier.
Yeah.
We can see even Liam Gallagher with his like being so big now. It's because kids grew up with their parents listening to Oasis. Oasis aren't about anymore.
Do you think they'll come back?
I think so, but I want to believe. So
they're doing the biggest build up to it ever. Like it's,
it's been going on a bit too long.
They're doing some edging.
Finish me off. I've had blue balls for 10 years.
It's gonna be like it's like Michael Jackson. This is it, sort of thing. Like I think they're gonna do one off. Big, mad, worldwide.
This is it.
They're gonna blow everybody out of the water, and I think that's what they're gonna do.
I'd happily pay $1,000.
What?
I'd happily pay $1,000 to see them. Happily.
Okay.
Happily?
I can make that happen.
Yeah.
Give me $1,000 now. I'll make the two cons go up and play in your granny's house.
They turned down 100 million. They're not taking $1,000.
They wouldn't have a choice. It's not an option. It's not like here you can get 50 quid out of this. Like, do you ever see Chevy Chase films and your mom turns up at Christmas? I got your boss. No, just fucking Nolan and Gallagher standing in your granny's.
I would. Yeah, I'd pay so much fucking money to see them.
I've seen them a couple of times. What do you need?
Monsters, mate.
Give them the monster over. But
so you're mainly a DJ. Would your music taste vary, or are you straight? I
don't actually listen to the music I play.
Right?
Yeah. So I actually, like you said, like the music that I grew up on, I would love. Even like Chemical Brothers, Daft Punk, all that kind of stuff. And then because I do a lot out of music, even though that's my full-time job, obviously.
It stops becoming fun when it's your job.
I still love it. No, obviously, I do love it, but because I listen to it every week, I like trying to give a break, and I do other things as well. But I've got more, mate. I'm like into like really random stuff. Like I will be into like at the moment, I'm really into air frying.
Right.
I don't know why. I was thinking about what makes me what I like.
I was going to say like
I done my first eggs in the air
pop
fryer
or something.
No,
I done my first eggs on the air fryer the other day.
Air frying, mate. Brilliant. Yeah.
It's one of them ones. It's like I would be on. Yeah.
I was just thinking of music, and I thought of the noise that the ninja goes. It makes like a little sample. So air frying, mate. If you haven't tried it, and you know,
I bought grease. It's like a wee thing you put on, so you don't have to clean it. It's just a wee bit of paper, and you can.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, fucking
brilliant.
Is completely because I'm fed up fucking scrubbing them.
Would you be the same way we are with comedy, where it's like once you start doing music full time, you don't enjoy it as much because you're kind of like
I think that's
deconstructing
every
it in your
time
head? Or
yeah, like if you sit and watch,
Yeah.
when you sit and watching somebody tattooing,
I don't watch any tattoo programs.
That's it.
Can't stand them.
Why would you?
Can't stand it.
I have to stop watching
only thing-
anything comedy now.
It's just I think the one thing that you do get support with is the size of the crowd. So if you imagine you're doing your biggest comedy show like is next week, and suddenly you get to Wembley Arena. Then when you go back to doing clubs, it's like it's hard. Like for example, Belfast every night 22,000. They might go to a club next week and do 3,000. So you're always. But then the smaller ones might be better because they're mad and they're intimate. So yeah, it's just the variety is good. But I can imagine like some of my mates have Vegas residencies. And like Steve Aoki and Calvin and Chester, etc. They all do Vegas residencies, but a lot of them play the same club every week. Like when you go to Hakkasan, Omnia, all those clubs in
Which
Vegas.
would get boring.
I can imagine, but like, mate, they make ridiculous. But money like.
Calvin plays in Ibiza. Like when we were over there, there's a guy.
Is it Ushuaia? That's where I'm playing on Tuesday. Yeah.
Are you will?
Yeah, for tomorrow night.
Anybody to carry on your stuff?
Mate, come with me. Yeah.
I'm in Mallorca. Like it's not that far away.
Mate,
Are you going back?
Where?
Mallorca?
I'm going back on Monday. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
The boat, it's now got a mic. Yeah, it's now got a mic.
TVs are in, Paddy. We're ready to go.
Yeah.
Suitcase is just a subwoofer and a mic.
Come
prepared.
Yeah, it's good.
The
Yeah,
ghetto blaster.
Got
Are
some
you playing
license.
high? No.
No, I played high last year. I used to do it with Armin.
They
Yeah.
literally were pulling me out of it.
Oh, sorry, it's Amnesia I did last year, and I did high the year before.
We
Yeah.
were in high in the fucking queue for the toilet, right? So, is it David Squally or what the fuck's the name of the DJ?
Is that David Guetta? Is that David Guetta, but with spaghetti?
Joe Pasquale.
It's like Squally or something like that. He was
David
playing-
Squally. I really hope this is someone that I know that he's got totally wrong, because that's fucking terrible. Do you know what? I guarantee it might actually be. There was. It's not Guetta.
He was fucking brilliant, but I had never
Where was he at high?
high. Yeah.
I don't know the fuck you're on about. Probably camel fat or something.
No, I'm
Sunset
not that bad. Like, I'm not that bad. But he was on, and I was just like, "Fuck, this is good." And I get right up to the
I need to
front.
know who this is, mate. I've never heard of someone called David Squally, but imagine he's massive and I just didn't know.
Swahili or something, maybe it could be. I don't know.
Swahili.
It's changing now.
No, it is SQ, like a second name. Oh, for fuck's sake, I can't even get it up. Type in,
Viagra.
type in David, so it's David with an A at the end of it, right?
Quack.
DJ, hold on, I might have it.
Oh, Squalachi.
Oh, I don't know who this is. Who's this?
He was playing high when he was fucking brilliant.
Marv, give me credit, mate. You got the
I'm
name
here to
right.
get the specs on.
He must be a Spanish DJ.
must be a
Yeah,
Spanish-
he's there with Coxie. Yeah, he must be.
He's Italian.
I think he's
Italian. I
yeah,
thought
he's a support DJ. I think on the label with he's in that like I call it the cool clique. You know, different scene.
But he was fucking great, and I was just like, fucking. Well, I was right up the front, but the queue for the toilet was fucking mad, and we had just got the tattoos done, and he was laughing. You're going to Ibiza, everybody's going to see your tattoo, right? So I'm standing in this fucking queue for ages, busting to get back into the room to fucking give it a message. And next minute the picture came on, and he just looked at me and he went, Mom, right to the front, pull tape off.
'Cause you're fucking-
in the fucking toilet where the DJ was playing, brought me right through it, pulled the tape off the door and slid this door over. You want to see this toilet was magnet, big disabled toilet. There was the whole night. I was just
Welcome to the
walking in.
good life, bro.
Yeah.
it
We
was
don't queue
fucking-
for an album.
It was fucking great. This morning, God. I was going to have a party in the fucking toilet.
Some of them do. Some of them do.
See, when I was in Miami, so you're talking about good toilets. I was in this real fancy nightclub, and this was back when I was flat out of gear.
Was that 11? Was that 11?
I can't remember the name of it, but it was quite fancy, and we've been to a few over different nights, and you go into this toilet, and you tip this guy. He's like a sort of South American guy. He's dressed all nice in a suit. You tip him, right? And what he does is he opens the door to a private section where you go in and do your gear.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not even, it's got to be shelf and a mirror. It's like spotless. And that's where you go in. I've never seen anything like this. And then when you run out, he then sells you more. I've never seen anything like it. It's absolutely
service.
mental.
Vegas does that in the
Whereas over here, you see 10 boys coming out the cubicle.
Did you see the one on TikTok last week? The girl went into a toilet and there was a wash machine. I don't know if it was in somebody's house or it was a party or a fucking nightclub or whatever. But she get into this toilet and there was an actual wash machine sitting there, and she seen the gear on the top of it. And she sniffed it, but it was actual washing powder.
Oh,
It was on TikTok.
My nose started burning there just thinking about
Her nose was clean as fuck after that.
it. No more stains.
She'd be there for a fucking hour, spitting her nose out. Fuck
oh, it's
So it's
fucking
coming out.
rotten.
No.
I feel electric when you go.